Friends, I say it often, but I'm going to say it again because it's worth repeating. Anyone who seeks to disarm honest, law-abiding Americans who have done nothing wrong and are planning to do nothing wrong, they're the enemy. Make no mistake about it. Guys, check out my friends CMMG. They make some of the finest firearms on the planet. You can get them in very different types of calibers, some that you probably aren't going to find in a lot of other manufacturers. You're also going to find them a variety of lengths and configurations, as well as tons of different colors. These things are nice, some of the best on the market. Check them out. If you happen to be by there, there's a code that I've heard about, FTATF, that if you use it, you actually can save some money. Check it out. Headline: Georgia City now finding some victims of gun theft. This is by Cam Edwards on Bearing Arms website. Earlier this year, the city of Savannah, Georgia adopted a new ordinance requiring gun owners to keep their firearms locked in secure compartments when left inside their vehicles, as well as mandating gun owners promptly report all lost or stolen firearms to local police. But even though the ordinance went into effect back in April, no one has been fined or cited for violating the law in the ensuing months. No one had been. Now, however, the Savannah Morning News reports that the city is actively enforcing the ordinance, with 4 residents receiving fines or warnings over the past month. The report reads, SPD has recorded 83 instances of firearms that were taken from unlocked or locked vehicles April 15th to August 15th of this year. All 4 citations were issued after the Savannah Morning News reported that no one had been fined or charged under the ordinance as of July 11th, despite Savannah Mayor Van Johnson saying during his weekly press conference that he expected that those who violated the ordinance would be charged. At the same time, SPD spokesperson Neil Pentella said SPD was, quote, actively enforcing the city's ordinance, unquote, and reviewing each incident in a case-by-case basis to determine if a citation is warranted. Now, why does this matter? Well, it kind of matters because it looks like this is another one of those laws that is on the books that wasn't really going to get enforced. It was all window dressing. It was all to make somebody feel safe. It was another feel-good law that was pushed out there. It made people have this crazy false sense of security in an area that has skyrocketing crime. And they weren't really planning to enforce it anyway until a news agency called them out on it and said, you're not enforcing it. Now, I'm not in favor of them enforcing it. I think it's a stupid law. I think it's very unconstitutional. It's certainly an infringement upon your constitutional rights. There's no doubt about that. However, these people need to stop designing laws and putting them on the books that they don't intend to enforce, and they hold on to them as an add-on charge so that if you ever are caught doing something with a busted brake light or something crazy like that, they can throw this additional charge at you. It's silly. If it's not enough of a charge to charge people and have a true victim in this case, which, think of it this way, who's the victim when somebody breaks into your car and steals your firearm, right? Who's the victim? You're the victim. The victim is being charged in this case. This isn't even a case of a victimless crime. You're the victim because you had your property stolen. But the fact that you didn't do a good enough job in preventing it from being stolen, now they want to charge you as a result of that. What's even sillier is they create this law with no intention of enforcing it until a news agency calls them on it, and then they immediately start scrambling and want to charge people as a result of that. I would want to look back and say, wait a minute, do I need to sue the news agency or the police department? Because you clearly had no intention of enforcing this, because there were 80-something pistols that had been stolen or firearms that had been stolen during that time frame, and it wasn't until a news agency said something about it before you started to charge people. So who do I need to tell my attorney to contact? Because you clearly showed a precedent by not enforcing the law and not charging or fining anybody until you were put in the spotlight, and you look stupid as a result of it. The problem I also have with some of these types of laws is that when there's people like you and I that one of these bogus BS laws applies to, they throw the book at us, right? Oh, they want to make an example of us. He's a bad gun owner. He's a careless gun owner. You've committed no crime. In fact, again, you were the victim of a crime. The problem in this is you don't have any other charges. You're not a career criminal. You don't have a dope dealer to rat out. You don't have somebody who's trafficking guns to rat out. So you can't plea down to anything. You don't have anybody to rat out in order to plea down. You don't have an agreement that you can make. You don't have a deal that you can make with local DAs and local prosecutors. So they nail you with that one charge because guess what? That's the only charge they have for you. The guy who burglarizes the car and stole your gun, he's likely going to walk with no charges. Why? Because he's got additional charges either thrown at him already, or his dope dealer or his gun trafficker, boss, ringleader, whatever, he rats him out, so he pleads out and gets that charge dropped. It's the silliest thing in the world. It's stupid, and it's upside down because all it does is hurt the honest, law-abiding American out there. Meanwhile, the criminals walk again because it doesn't even have to be a legitimate name. They rat somebody out. Just they plead down and say, oh, it was old Rodney down there at the gas station. He's the guy slinging dope. And they go lock Rodney up, and he doesn't even know why. Because this guy pled down, ratted out Rodney, and he walks free. You don't, because guess what? You've got nothing for them. You've got nobody to rat out. You've got no additional charges to plead down to. This is the only one, so boom, they throw the book at you. Another silly, stupid example of ridiculous laws on the book that don't do anything. What does it deter? Unless these firearms were sitting on the dashboard, on the seat, very unlikely that they were. Nobody does that, right? Very few people are that stupid and careless to do something like that. So these people had every intention of breaking in the vehicle anyway. What's the deterrent? What are you trying to stop? When you implemented the new law, now you're basically saying, my goal with this new law is to make the law-abiding American fear somebody breaking into their vehicle so badly that now they're going to lock their firearm up in a safe or take it with them. That's how stupid it is. It's putting no onus on the burglar because they assume the burglar's going to break into the car anyway. Again, these 83 incidents of this happening, I can assure you these were 83 people that intended on breaking in these same cars no matter what. Just so happened that they were either unlocked, and don't give me they broke into it because somebody left the door unlocked, or they got into it because somebody left the door. They broke into it. You did not have permission to go in this guy's car, these 83 people's car. Even if they were all left unlocked, you did not have permission. You don't have permission to walk in my house. I wonder if the victims in this case, which I consider the people who had their property stolen, I wonder if these victims had been lying in the vehicles, sleeping, taking a nap, or just sitting there, and somebody broke in. If somebody put one right here, they would have gotten off then, right? Nope. Didn't steal anything. Didn't steal my gun because I was using my gun. Isn't that crazy? You would be better off leaving this person who broke into your vehicle in a body bag. You get off, they get no charges because they ain't here anymore. But nobody gets a charge, right? But yet, if you spare that life and they take that gun instead, they steal that gun, now you get the charge. So, I guess we have a decision to make, right? One or the other. I'm staying out of jail. You're not hitting me with that charge. But again, this just goes back to the stupidity of these lawmakers. These are people who do not function in a normal world. Lawmakers are some of the most disjointed, disconnected people on the face of this earth. They put out laws that make absolutely no sense. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't understand the repercussions of the ripple effect of some of these stupid laws out there. They just implement them so that they can brag that they did this. This is a law that is put in place. Somebody that voted for this law is going to campaign on the fact that they helped pass this law, including the mayor of Savannah. Now, to be clear, I don't want to see people leaving firearms in plain sight or even locked up. I don't think that it's even wise to leave one locked up. Now, I will say this. I understand the reason for locking one up because of these other stupid gun laws out there with these gun-free zones. You people are creating the need to pass an additional law to make people lock stuff up because you've created so many of these stupid gun-free zones that these people are trying to obey the law by not carrying in these gun-free zones and then leaving the gun in their vehicle so that they don't get nailed for bringing them to gun-free zones. You want to know what the best advice is that I can give? And let me give the disclaimer. I am not an attorney. Do not take legal advice from me. I'm just some redneck idiot from South Louisiana. But my advice is, if you are going into a gun-free zone, You decide what's best for you. It is your responsibility, if you're concealed carrying, to conceal carry, right? Nobody needs to know that you're carrying. In closing, I'm going to leave you with this excerpt from my book, How to Make a Monster. There are more good men than evil, and while the latter cannot be persuaded to the path of righteousness by propaganda, they can certainly be corrected by good men with rifles.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's